Hi, everybody. Welcome. We are going to get started. We're really excited. My name is Erin Helmrich, and I'm one of the librarians here. Been very lucky to work with Debbie Taylor on 2 different books with Fifth Avenue Press over in Motown a few years ago, and then now Step It Up, the French Dukes, which came out last year. But we're really excited to have this special event today. We're really excited to have Blackstone Cultural and Bookstore here, so please make sure buy books. Debbie's going to be doing a full reading of the book so that we can immerse ourselves in the story, and then we're going to meet some folks. We've got a busy agenda, lots of really fun stuff. So please give a warm welcome to Debbie, who's going to introduce the rest of our panel.
Thanks very much. So welcome everyone, and thank you all for coming. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Erin Helmrich and her team at the Ann Arbor District Library for birthing this book. So thank you so much. Let's give a hand to Erin. So I came across the idea from this story while speaking with French Dukes member Kenny Mitchell. Our conversations led to the book project, which was inspired by Kenny's experiences and based on an actual event. Unfortunately, Mr. Mitchell passed away before seeing the final draft of this book, but the story reflects his love for his family and his love for the community of French Dukes. Thank you, Kenny. All right. So, before we get started, you are all going to have to help me with the reading of this book. When I say 1, 2, 3, and point, I want you to say, "Step it up, French Dukes, step it up." Okay, let's practice. 1, 2, 3. Step it up, French Dukes, step it up. You'll do, Pig. You'll do. All righty. Hit it. Sidestep, sidestep. Box, box, box. The commander of the French Dukes Precision Drill Team shouted orders to the squad marching past the farmer's market. Shoppers watched the men wearing starched shirts, white berets, and white gloves. And here is a beret similar to the ones that the French Dukes might have worn. It's shaped like a toy that you might use in the summer, called a what? Frisbee. Okay, I'm going to toss this just to see who might be able to catch this. On this side, all right? Let's see. She has a door prize, all right? And these are the white gloves that drill team members might have worn, all right? When they reached City Hall, the 4 columns of marchers stepped smartly. Kenny's big brother, Ted, was the tallest man in his column. Ted's eyes sparkled, but his usual grin was replaced by a stern look. Kenny mirrored the final steps of the routine. To the right, to the right. Kenny stood at attention and saluted. The drill team waved to the cheering crowd and shook hands with a few people. 1, 2, 3. Good job. So when can I be a French Duke? Asked Kenny. Well, you have to try out next Saturday like everyone else. Learn the steps, practice the drills. Kenny spun around. That's easy. Also, he said, be kind, responsible, and respectful to everyone. That means doing your chores, keeping tidy, and staying away from the guys who pitch pennies and break windows. And remember, French Dukes don't give up, they step up. I will, said Kenny. One day soon I'll be picking up my uniform from Sam's clothing store. During the next few days, Kenny rehearsed all 30 of the drill routines. On Monday, after making his bed, Kenny raced to the driveway to rehearse By the Winds, swaying his arms like a windmill. His mother called, Kenny, your bed is so messy, it looks like you're still in it. On Tuesday, he practiced the 4 corners, saluting in every direction. On Wednesday, he pretended the kitchen broom was a flagpole. He swung it to the right, and he swung it to the left. The handle smacked right into a pitcher on the counter. Crash. On Thursday, his grandmother chuckled as he gobbled down his dessert. He hurried outside to practice the razzle-dazzle, wiggling his legs like limbo sticks. Kenny, you've got more peach pie in you than on you, she said. On Friday, he overslept and was late for school. "Uh-oh," said Kenny. "Late again, Kenny," said Miss Brown. "I hope you won't be late for the zoo trip next week." "Oh, no, ma'am," he said. "Nothing could make me miss that trip. I can't wait to see the Tigers." Shout out to the Detroit Tigers, all right? On Saturday morning, Kenny and Ted walked to the middle school grounds. "Good luck, little brother," said Ted. Kenny and two boys from his school, Alonzo Peach and Mark White, stood before Commander Smith and Vice Commander Dill. "We'll be selecting one new member of the French Dukes today, just in time for the contest at Pioneer High School next week," said Vice Commander Dill. The boys took their places. Kenny's two classmates wished him good luck, but Kenny just stared straight ahead. Then the commander called out the orders: "Right, right, box, box, box." Kenny hit each of the drills. He marched with precise steps. His head snapped right, and it snapped left. After the last routine, all three boys stood at attention. "At ease," said Commander Smith. Finally, it was time to reveal the name of the newest member of the French Dukes. Kenny rubbed his hands together. "Alonzo Peach, welcome to the French Dukes Precision Drill Team," said the commander. Kenny's mouth dropped open. Alonzo and Mark shook hands, but Kenny just stomped to a bench. Ted sat on the bench next to Kenny. "How come I'm not a French Duke yet?" asked Kenny. "I hit all the steps, and I didn't make any mistakes." Ted nodded. "You're right. That box step was right on point. Your turns were tight, and wow, your spins were even better than mine." Ted frowned. "But all week, you missed the mark." Kenny sighed. He thought about the pitcher he'd broken, the sloppy clothes he'd worn, and he hadn't shaken Alonzo's hand. But then Kenny nodded. "I'll try again next month because French Dukes don't give up. They step up. 1, 2, 3. Ted hugged Kenny's shoulders. "That's my man," he said, "and the Dukes will bring home that trophy from Pioneer High School next Monday." So on Sunday, Kenny drew pictures of tigers, and after dinner, he carefully swept the kitchen floor. When he carried the garbage to the trash cans, he ignored the boys who were pitching pennies. Just before bedtime, Kenny passed Ted's room. Ted's uniform was so well starched, it could stand up by itself. His beret and gloves sat on the dresser. Kenny slipped his fingers into the gloves. He saluted himself in the mirror. "Step up, Private Kenny." The next morning, Kenny hummed as he buttoned his shirt. "Today is zoo trip day, today is zoo trip day." He reached for his backpack. Then he saw Ted's gloves on the nightstand. "Oh no, Ted needs those gloves for the talent contest. Mom and Dad are at work, I don't have money for the city bus or a taxi, and Pioneer High School is 24 blocks away." Kenny took a deep breath. The hall clock struck 8. He had 1 hour to get all the way across the city. Kenny sprinted down the front steps and raced down Summit Avenue. At the corner, a funeral procession inched past. More than a dozen cars snailed along. There was no way to cross the street. Kenny's shoulders slumped for a moment. Then, as a parade of cars drove by, he stood at attention. When the last car passed, he raced across the street and down the corner. After running 10 more blocks, he reached Pioneer High School. He charged up the front door. Kenny ran to the stage entrance. A barbershop quartet slouched against a wall. A guitarist plucked his strings. The French Dukes stood at attention as the commander straightened their collars. Ted looked up as Kenny edged forward. "Your gloves," said Kenny. Ted hugged his brother. "Thanks so much. We couldn't win without everyone dressed in full uniform," he said. Kenny nodded. He had just enough time to slip into a seat. "Dukes, left, right, shouted the commander. Oh, the drill team was on fire. Their elbows were angled like railroad ties, their head snaps were sharp, and their taps were as precise as pistons. The Dukes drilled, they strutted, they paused like statues, and then they launched into the French Duke Special. After 30 seconds, the team saluted. They marched to the back of the stage. Loud clapping filled the air. The judges passed their ballots to the head judge. She stepped to the microphone, and Kenny held his breath. The winner of the annual Pioneer High School Talent Contest is the French Dukes Precision Drill Team. You saw that coming, right? Okay. Ted hugged his brother. We couldn't have won without your help. You really stepped up. Then he blinked. Shouldn't you be at school? Kenny nodded. The school bus is long gone. I'll have to explain this to Mom and Dad and Miss Brown. Ted looked at his watch. Well, the commander and I can take you to school. That night, Kenny and Ted practiced drills with Alonzo, Mark, and a few others. 2 weeks later, Ted and Kenny walked out of Sam's clothing store carrying a new uniform that was so crisp, it looked like it could stand up and drill by itself. 1, 2, 3.
Step it up, French Dukes, step it up.
Indeed. Step it up, French Dukes. Step it up. Thank you. Okay, so next I'd like to introduce our moderator for today's session. This is Reverend Dr. Debbie Mitchell Covington, and she is the founder of All Things Artistic Ministries, Inc. She's chair of the African American Cultural and Historical Museum of Washtenaw County, and she's director of Strategic Partnerships and Equity Initiatives at the University of Michigan's College of Engineering. She's a lifelong resident of Ann Arbor, poet, author, dancer, an extraordinary Renaissance woman, Reverend Dr. Debbie Mitchell Covington.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to Debbie Taylor, my dear friend and phenomenal woman. On her latest release, I won't go on because Debbie is so humble and she will be embarrassed. But know that I love you and respect you and appreciate all that you've done for our community and beyond. So Debbie has been a valuable member of All Things Artistic Ministries History Alive program. And that's where she met Kenny Mitchell, who is also a team member. The team had a fellowship dinner to celebrate the end of a successful season. It was around the dinner table that Step It Up, the French Dukes, was born. Kenny passionately shared stories about the French Dukes, and Debbie, the consummate writer, began envisioning the book. Today, we recognize and celebrate that accomplishment. I wish Kenny Mitchell were here to be a part of this day, but we know he is with us in spirit. And it's also a pleasure to moderate this distinguished panel, and I must say that they are my friends and my big brothers, because we all grew up together here in Ann Arbor, and I love the French Dukes. So after each panelist's introduction, I will begin with a question, and finally we'll open the floor to questions from our audience. So panelists, will you please introduce yourselves?
I'm Jimmy Yates, French Duke since '71, but grew up wanting to be a Duke.
And my name is Larry Young from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I always wanted to be a French Duke when my mom took me to the parade, and I was a little bitty kid, and I was like, what is all this commotion? everybody following these guys, and I'm like, wow, it was really exciting to see the roar, that thunder, you know, the clacking of the boots and the organization that they presented, and it just seemed like positive role models for me, and they were a positive role model for me. And I tell you, I've been blessed to be a part of this drill team because it kept me out of trouble, and it gave me an opportunity to travel and see some things that I wouldn't have been able to see. So I just want to thank these guys for accepting me to be a part of the drill team.
My name is Larry Wright. You might know my name when you see it in print as Larry E. Wright. I used to be a photographer for Ann Arbor News for 32 years. Growing up in Ann Arbor, I seen the Dukes when I was just knee-high to anything. And them coming through town and parades and stuff like that. And when I graduated from Pioneer, me and Jimmy both, that same year, 1971, we joined. And we missed the chance to go to Washington and a few other places, but we got a chance to do our own thing too since we had joined. And so I've always admired the French Dukes, their discipline. Some of them, a lot of them are no longer with us, like Ozzie Nicholson, he was our advisor and sponsor through the Elks here in town, and he was a former military man himself. So it's just positivity. When I look at the Dukes and I look at old pictures of Dukes before I even joined, a lot of them I went to school with their younger brothers and siblings and stuff like that. So it's just to see it still going on, and some kids are still interested and want to do it, want to be part of it. I applaud them.
Thank you. I can say, as a young person growing up in Ann Arbor, and we were a very small black community, but the French Dukes gave us a lot of pride and
Yes.
just respect for ourselves and respect for them. And when we saw them marching in the inaugural parade, I think everyone in Ann Arbor was around the television on that day. So I'm going to start with a question, and some of you have started telling your stories, but feel free to expand upon it. When and why did you join the French Dukes?
Well, like I said, I joined in '71, like I said, right after we got out of high school. Why? Because, okay, back in the 60s, there wasn't much for blacks to do in Ann Arbor. We didn't have any clout. We didn't have much going for us. So this was, I guess, our recognition. This was our aspiration. We didn't have, we weren't big sports stars or corporation presidents or anything. We weren't in a gang per se, like the Crips or the Bloods or Chicago's Blackstone. We were Ann Arbor's, homegrown, I guess you could say, just group of people. And there are a lot of folks in the audience who have been French Dukes, who watch French Dukes, who have been French Dukes, can probably tell it a little bit better than I can. Larry, you want to add something?
Well, like I said earlier, I've always wanted to be a Duke ever since I was a little boy and watching them in parades and stuff. But also, when they got a chance to travel and they went to Canada and they went to Detroit, they went to Lansing, there's a lot of places right here in Michigan that they went to. Usually it was around some kind of celebration of a parade of some type of sort, either 4th of July or something more local for that particular community where they were invited to perform. I've always, like I said, when I was a kid, I said, I want to do that. And my mom was a little hesitant to say, I don't know. So, I wouldn't bring it up too much, but she would let me go to see it in parade, or we all go to a parade or something like that. But when I got a chance, and I knew a lot of the Dukes, like I said, I knew a lot of their younger siblings and stuff too. So when I got a chance to join, I decided I was going to join, and that was it. They, I have never seen another group in a parade as sharp as the Ann Arbor French Dukes Precision Drill Team. And so when we would go to the celebration in Detroit, it was to be at the big park. There was a big park in what used to be Fairgrounds. Yeah, the Fairgrounds and State Fairgrounds.
Okay.
And we performed there a few times, and we did some stuff at one of the local clubs down there. And so I don't know if any of you remember the disc jockey who used to be on WAAM, black disc jockey, first one they ever had. His name, Charles Johnson, also known as Mojo. And because he used to have to think, I am Mojo. And his theme song would be the Brown Bag. And but anyway, he was at a club down there, and he invited us to come in, and he called us Mojo's Army. But we had a good time, and we performed there, and it's just a lot of memories, a lot of memories. There should be stuff on file here at the library, or maybe, I don't know how they do now, things, everything's electronic and digital now, so you might be able to see certain things online. If you look me up online, you'll see a ton of stuff, just stuff that I've done when I had my job at the news. But I think any kid who wants to do something that's positive and organized, or learning about organization, learning about discipline, learning about being able to take commands, learning how to be an example for others, either themselves, their age, or younger, or older. Because certain older folks have a certain perception of some of the younger folks nowadays. Because, sometimes we think some of you younger folks just, okay. But that being said, there's always hope. Jesse said years ago, keep hope alive. But it's good.
And can I add one thing? What you see here is original French Dukes, but this went back early in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s. And as I look out and pan out, there were another guy that was invited to come. I don't know why he didn't come, but he had a lot of history that he could share with us. And I'm looking out at one right now who I invited up here just now, that he could share some history, because he is one of the original French Dukes, and I would really like to have him come up and join us, because he could share some of the beginnings of the French Dukes. And I saw another brothers. Now, they were brothers on the drill team. And I want to call them out, Grant Sleep and Phil Sleep. And
come on.
Carl Johnson, I would like to have you come up as well. And Grant Sleep and Phil, I would love to have you, because
For real. Come on, guys.
I got to get them too. I'll let them take my mic. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking for Aaron or Tyler. There, look, another handheld.
Y'all got more history than I do. Okay.
Why don't you share the mics? Can we get one? Huh? Oh, great. We might need one more chair.
If they sit near these lights, though, they should be okay.
Yeah, they're hot. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. We'd love to hear your stories as well. Were you finished, Larry?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, I wanted to add too.
We got two Larrys.
Yeah, little Larry.
That happens a lot.
I just wanted to add something that was very important to me was the discipline that they instilled in the community. You know, not only were they a great team of guys, but what I learned when I joined the drill team is that we never took second place. We
Amen.
always won first place. First place trophies, and that was something unheard of because I remember the first year that I joined the French Dukes, and we drilled at the competition in Canada, and they were actually retired, and they came out of retirement, and I was wearing this shirt with the FD on it, and as we pulled up on the bus, you know, it felt like I was a rock star because they just came to the bus, and Colonel Nicholson had to find out were they going to let us in competition because we just came out of retirement. And a lot of drill teams had left because of the French Dukes was on site. They was like,
Serious.
no, serious. Yep, they left. And then Nicholson got back on the bus and he said, well, I got good news and I got bad news. Which one you want to hear first? We're like, come on, Nick, just give us the news. And so the bad news was there were so many drill teams had left because they heard the French Dukes was back. But the good news was they were going to allow us to be in competition. And I was just like, wow, you know, I was amazed. You know, I was one of the younger drill teams at the time, younger members that was adopted to the French Dukes. And I was just so proud to have this shirt on. And that's why I try to keep it going. You know, it's just been really, these guys, and this is something too I want to share. Even though I never drilled with this man right here, but we are brothers. I mean, when we come, every time we come to a meeting, we're like a family. We all inclusive. You know, Scotty is one that's helping me as well. And all the other French Dukes, even though we may not have drilled together, but we still share that camaraderie, and we still share that passion for each other. So I just thank God for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one. Okay. One of our mottos is French Dukes forever. So, like I say, we hold true to that. I don't care when you drilled, who you drilled with. If you were a French Duke, you are a French Duke.
So Grant, you want to share?
Well, I joined the drill team to travel. You know, it was my way of getting out of Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti. And I went to New York, Washington. I went with the group that went to Richard Nixon's inauguration parade. That was a cold January. But it was, you know, it was just fantastic. Enjoyed it. For me, it was just growing up in the neighborhood. It gave you a sense of pride being a French Duke. I mean, people look at you different. And you knew the camaraderie of the other folks in the group with you. It was tight. It was really tight. And we all enjoyed doing things together and coming up to the farmer's market every day. We'd be there doing them steps. Left, right, double to the rear. French Duke special, all of them. Triple to the rear and don't forget that right flank. It was there, and everybody was doing it. They wanted to learn and they wanted to get it right, and we got it right. And I really enjoyed it.
What I loved is when y'all copped the lean.
Oh, yeah. Cop that lead.
Carl, you want to?
Hi, my name is Carl Johnson. I joined the Dukes in '63. My experience was that I wanted, at the time, the stepping was going on with the sororities and fraternities, and the Dukes were like making them look really bad. So that's why I joined the Dukes. And one good thing about the French Dukes, I went in the military, and I got out of Vietnam 6 months early because I had experience on a drill team, and they were looking for people to come in the Navy to join their drill team. So I've been really, the Dukes have really blessed me with my life.
Man.
Because it got me out of Vietnam.
Okay, so I'll ask the next question. What did you learn, and what did you use, from the experience? And we're going to give everyone one opportunity to share that, and then we're going to show a video of the French Dukes.
Well, I don't mind being first. 'Cause I got to say, I learned how to have respect. I learned how to discipline. I learned how to self-discipline myself, control my anger. It done a lot for me. It kept me humble, and it kept me grounded. It kept me focused. It was really an impact in my life that it really it shows today, because if it hadn't been for the French Dukes, I don't know telling where I'd be. But I give it all to God. I know it was the grace of God, because these opportunities come for a reason, and God has always been in my life, and being a part of this drill team has really brought me out of myself. Being shy and not being. I mean, it just was a great experience, and I just love it, and I thank God for it, and love these guys.
Thank
For me, it was teamwork. Everybody had to work together. Like each column had to, you had to work together. You had to know the steps. You had to know when to do your left, your right, your about face. You had to do it all together as a team. So that's one thing I got out of it. Teamwork.
That's a very valuable skill. These are very valuable skills as you go into your professions and throughout your life. Larry?
Well, I knew I could do it. I was always a dancer. While growing up, I had a couple of awards for dance contests at Forsyth and stuff like that. So I had rhythm. But to see a bunch of fellas in a group or organized group that looked like me, and people applauding them and finding out that they get a chance to travel to other places, and people would ask for autographs and applaud them, and to me it warmed my heart, and I said, when I get older, I want to be a part of that, and that's what I did.
Great. Anyone else want to share what they've learned, what they learned while they were Dukes, and how that's carried you forward in life?
Well, I add one more thing.
Make it quick.
Make it real quick. This is something that I always remember that really stick with me. Like I was talking about Canada when we drilled in Canada.
Emancipation.
Emancipation.
Oh, that's right.
I stepped off that bus, and they just grabbed me. I had one female on this side, one on this side, and I just like, what is going on here? Here I was shy, but I had these folks fighting over me, and I just didn't. I'm like, what's going on? That always stuck with me, and I've been proud about that ever since, and I owe it all to him. Brett?
I learned discipline and family. It just wasn't like being in a Boy Scout organization
Yes.
or I would even say church, because some went to church, some didn't go to church. But we could walk anywhere, be anywhere in Ann Arbor, either on school, downtown, and see a French Duke, and it was, we were family. Like closer than brothers, so to speak. That's what I enjoyed about it.
I enjoyed the things that we tried to do and did, some of us. as we saw our members pass, get together at their funerals and stand before the caskets and salute them out on their way. And that was a real good thing. And just the experience of being a Duke and drilling and the camaraderie and the love we had for each other was a great experience.
Well, did everyone speak?
Real quick.
Okay.
Okay, we had mentioned earlier before that we were in, the Dukes were in the Nixon's inaugural parade in 69, was it 69, 68, 69? The reason being, okay, now, at that time, back in the 60s, you see a group of black men together in combat boots. Everybody thought we were part of the Black Panthers. So what was happening? Okay, I guess someone had videotaped us. Hey, let's see what this group is about. And from those videotapes, they show Nixon or somebody say, hey, these guys are pretty good. They aren't Black Panthers. They're not trying to tear down anything. Let's have them in our parade. So that's how the French Dukes got to be in Nixon's inaugural parade.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all. So we're going to show the video, but I also want to note that there was in 2012, the French Dukes Precision Drill Team received a proclamation from John Heif, I can't remember how to say his name, the former mayor. Heathfrey? You all heard. and there's a proclamation here. I will not read it, but please know that this is one of many honors that they received. And after so many years of being a credit to and the pride of Ann Arbor, it was recognized in 2012 by the mayor. So congratulations. And we're going to put up the video now.
Discipline, earning respect and building pride. That's what an African-American precision drill team known as the French Dukes instilled in its members back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
And this group from Ann Arbor was so good that they started drawing crowds on the local level and then grew to receive national attention. And now they're reuniting. 7 Action News reporter Alicia Smith has their story from Ann Arbor.
Get on! Get on! To the rear, now there! Who? Get on it! Stay here! Get on it!
From their berets to their bootstraps.
What? I can hear you too!
The French Dukes still got it.
Stay up!
Yes, they're a few decades older, but check out their military precision and dynamic moves. We caught up with them practicing at the Ann Arbor Farmers Market. They're back together again after about a 30-year hiatus, thanks to Lisa Jones.
My father was a French Duke, Jimmy Jones, and as a child, we used to be right here. We used to walk the market and watch them drill, and they haven't been together in so many years, and I thought, these guys need to be recognized.
The oldest participating French Duke to come back to drill is 60-year-old Michael Bridges, who remembers how it all started.
2 young men from Ann Arbor, their mother took them to the Emancipation Parade in Canada, and they saw another team drilling. They came home and said they could do that, and so they got a sponsor by the Elks, and they started stepping in competition and parades and the Ann Arbor talent shows, and it just took off from there.
Jerry Ginyard is the vice commander calling the steps. He joined when he was 13 and continued stepping until he was 22.
How did this help you as a teenager?
Well, it helped me as a teenager to get out of the drug business, you know, and the fighting and the stealing and the robbing. It helped me get out of all that, and it kept me out of jail.
The group's name was inspired by the French tam berets they wore and a popular song of the day, Gene Chandler's Duke of Earl.
Nothing can stop Duke of Earl.
But they could sure stop traffic.
Every parade we went to, when people would leave their seats and follow us, and when we got in front of the grandstands that the people at the grandstands would ask us to do. They want to see every step we did.
One of their signature moves was the French Duke Special.
We kind of double time and we do a whole different routine. Our flag boy comes to the middle, twirling the flags, and we kind of salute the people, and they just cheered us along every time we did that.
Crowds still cheer them on, but these men will never forget being cheered on by a president.
I, Richard Nixon, do.
After Richard Nixon saw them perform during a visit to Michigan, he invited them to perform in the parade for his second inauguration.
We saluted the president, and he saluted us back while he was up in his little box, you know, and then we went on, but we were invited there. We didn't ask to come, but he wanted us.
Weren't you invited to be on the Ed Sullivan Show?
Yes, we were. Yes, we were, but we didn't raise enough money to get there. Ed Sullivan didn't want to pay. He wanted us there, but he didn't want to pay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, Ed Sullivan missed out. Look at him now. And they hope to draw new recruits. So you think you'll follow in their footsteps?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I like how the footwork.
It's pretty sharp, isn't it?
Yes.
They're hoping to pass on the tradition to a new generation, boys ages 10 and up. If you know of somebody who'd be a great French Duke, you can click on our link on this story on the website, WXYZ.com. In Ann Arbor, Alicia Smith, 7 Action News.
In addition to the French Dukes, they're also looking for young girls who'd like to be Dukettes.
Yeah, you can catch the French Dukes, by the way, August 17th at the Heritage Festival in Ypsilanti. And by the way, they drilled for us last Tuesday. You may remember that was the hottest day of the year. So an extra note of thanks to them for doing that
That's
for us.
for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Scotty and I were over there reminiscing and feeling proud and excited, and we remember this, we remember this. So we're gonna, Carl, did you want to say something? Did you want to say something? Yeah, here, let me give you the. Okay. He said it made him really feel black and proud. And that was so important, especially here in Ann Arbor, because we didn't always feel that. Yeah. So that's why the French Dukes meant so much to us, because they did make us feel black and proud and seen. Yeah. Okay, so questions from the audience. We have just a few minutes for a couple questions.
I can't.
we have a next generation. We have the next generation coming up in a few minutes. In the back here.
Well, anybody just answered that question for me by what you just said. My name is Ken McGee. I was born in Ann Arbor. I went to Angel Elementary School. And I remember when you guys performed at Chrysler Arena doing a halftime of a Michigan basketball game. And all my neighborhood kids idolized you guys. And we would try to emulate you guys.
Wow.
In our own little neighborhood, and we'd ride our bikes down and try to learn what you were doing. And I just want to say thank you. And I hope there will be a French Duke 2.0. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I didn't know folks in the other neighborhoods idolized you guys too. That's great. That's true.
The butcher at the Kroger's on Carpenter still recognizes me as a French Duke because he used to watch him. Yes. Coleman Jewett. Together.
Nobody got shot. Nobody got killed. Everybody went home in 1968, people. Yes. So my question to you is, having come from that era, what do you say to our young people now? Because I still work in the school system, you guys. Yeah, waving the white flag over here, but what do you say to our young people now, where we don't see that many black men just being all together in unison, marching in peace together? What advice do you have to our young people now, given the state of America?
I'm gonna say something. First of all, it begins at home. And you need to teach your kids to respect everyone, no matter who they are, no matter what they are. Color shouldn't make any difference. Definitely should respect your elders, but have respect for yourself also. So that's why I say it starts with at home and it starts within, with you. We see elderly people, and sometimes people look past them. I will be, Lord continues to bless me, I'll be 71 this year, but I don't feel like a senior citizen because I get around just great and I can do steps and all that. But there comes a time the body does get worn and everybody ages differently. But when the kids see an organized group of folks that they can identify with, because you had the French Dukes, you had the Continental Dukes, you had younger groups, okay? And kids like to identify with things they see, just like we see on the tube and on when you pull out your phone, online and all that kind of stuff. People do like to belong to something. They like to be a part of something. And to be a part of something that's positive, hey, that you couldn't ask anything better than that. And so I said, you know, as you see these young people, keep them encouraged. Let them know that they're not alone, that people want to see them out there and succeeding in life, no matter what they do, to succeed in life and help someone else along the way. If you got a chance to help somebody else, hold out your hand, be a part of a fund drive, whatever the case may be, however you want to put your part in, even if it's just a minute part, that's okay. Because some people, everybody's not on the able list to do. And so just keep that in mind.
Yes. And I do want to also, thank you, Larry. I do want to recognize that there were Dukettes as well, so that there were young women that were drilling as well. So we're going to have one quick comment, and then we're going to transition. I'm going to pass the mic to Larry. Actually, Larry, why don't you come up, because I'm going to pass the mic to you anyway to introduce the Salt of the Earth.
Well, I want to address that question about what we tell our kids. I'm a laborer. This part here is not really what I do. I just like to work at what I do. And when I shared with y'all earlier how it gave me the opportunity to travel, that was important to me because we didn't have the money. You know, we didn't have the opportunity to go and travel and do things. But when I became a part of the French Dukes, I was traveling. I was going places that I would not have been able to go, and that always been an impact for me. And that's why I pass that on to these young folks that are here today. But one thing I wanted to say is what I learned about the French Dukes, it don't matter what neighborhood you came from. It doesn't matter where you come from. We all one generation. And it does take a village to bring them up. And that's why I'm doing this today with the Salt of the Earth. And I thank God, because most of these people up here has contribute in helping me with these young folks today that I'm about to bring up. And I thank God for my church family, Brown Chapel. They have really been in support with me with this drill team. You know, when I started out, I had my van. I was working construction, and I used to get off of work. Didn't even have time to go change. I had to, boom, go start picking kids up, gathering them up. I had to pick them up in my van. And one of the parents told me, she said, you know what? When I see your van, I know my kids are in good hands. I know, you know, a lot of folks will say, let them catch the bus. Why are you doing all that work? Let them get this. But these parents had security knowing that, see, if they tell their child, go to practice, send them out that door, you don't know where they're going. But when I come pick them up at their house, they see that van and they know their kids are in good hands. And they not have to worry about where they at, what trouble they getting into. And that's why I love these kids today. These kids come, they volunteer. I don't force them to come. They come because they love it. And I want them to know not only that we are all in one big family, what I'm doing is bringing Washington County together. Ypsilanti, Rural Run, Ann Arbor, Belleville, we all, when we leave our schools, when we leave our neighborhoods, we go to jobs where we work along with other folks. And if you can't get along with your neighbor, you know what I'm saying? And I just teach these kids that it's so important that we have that discipline for each other and that we have that unity for each other. And they learn that. And I want to also, if it had not been for the Samaritan Way, who has been really instrumental in helping me continue this cause, I'm just thanking God for all he has done for me, because if it had not have been, where would I be? And I just thank God for Reverend Cheryl, Reverend Williams, Pastor Donald Phillips, he was here. Now, I'm thanking them today, but these guys right here, if it hadn't been for them, I wouldn't have made that travel. So this brings my opportunity. Salt and Earth Drill Team, litting up, let's go, fall in. Now these kids here only practice once a week. And as you see, we got a lot of new faces, but I am so proud of them. Litting up, fall in. Dress it up. Dress it up. Dress right dress. Dress right dress. Let me come down here. Now this young lady, I can count her on any row. So she can go over here behind. Thank you. All right. Wait up. Hook right there. Fight up. Hook right there. Fight up. Good, get on. Get on. Get on. Get on. Get on. Makalele, mak. Hey. Yola. Legs right. Yola. In the lazy leg. Yola. This is their first time commanding, so they're kind of nervous. But I want to tell you guys in front of everybody how proud I am of you guys. We only practice once a week. Now I want to share this because we are the French Dukes. We practice every day, but today in today's world, you don't have that opportunity. So we got blessed that we can get once a week out of these kids, and I'm telling you that's why I'm so proud of them because what we done was every day. They only do it once a week, and they remember their steps. I'm just proud of them because we just got together and we're working at it. And you will see them in the 4th of July parade, and you're going to see them a lot more in Ann Arbor, Ipsy, Roller Run events. So I want to salute you guys, and I just thank you guys for being part of my drill team, and we have more coming. And I want to ask something. Terry Jackson, that was my commander when I first started the drill team. We have members of the French Dukes that are here, and those who remember who used to come to the practices, the market. Yeah.
Yes. Raise your hands if you were in the French Dukes or if you watched the French Dukes at the market on Wednesday nights, Thursday nights. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the salt of the earth. We're going to just take a minute and have a little memorial slide to recognize the French Dukes who have gone on.
Can I add one more thing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know I talk a lot, but I could not be happy if I have not appreciate Debbie Taylor. I know she's over there hiding, but
yes,
I love you. You guys have been I tell you, it's just, I can't express how much I appreciate you in taking a notice in what we do and what the drill team is about. So I really appreciate you all bringing the light back on the French Dukes, and we're going to continue it on.
Thank you. I made him say that because I was his babysitter. Okay, we're going to do the memorial slide.
Yeah, we'll slide it.
Okay. In the air.
So I don't know if any of you want to read the names, but see everybody's names and nicknames
We're just
spelled
going
out.
to let them,
Yep.
Are there more pages?
I think it's just the one. There we go.
Step it up, French Dukes, step it up.
So I'd like to give Aaron the final word, but thank you all for coming. I want to thank the panelists. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Debbie Mitchell-Covington, and thank my husband, Charles Taylor, who's been with me through this entire journey. This book was dedicated to my son-in-law, Alexander Go-To Weldon, and my grandson, A.C. Edward Weldon, but it's also meant to honor French Dukes past, present, and future. Thank you very much.
I just want to make sure that all of you get your copies of the book signed by Debbie Taylor over at the table over there. If you haven't bought one yet, please say hello and give her a welcome. So thank you so much. This was an amazing, amazing afternoon. Thank you to everybody for sharing all of your stories, and thank you again for coming out.
Can I say one more thing? I just wanted to say